So welcome back to the semi-finals of Week 3 of ELEAGUE. We are your beleaguered analysts. I'm Richard Lewis, your host. This is Mo and Moses. And you can see Astralis, job done, wasn't pretty, but they got a map in the books and they've got a series advantage. This was an interesting talking point. We made a big deal about Karrigan coming over, overcame his visa problems to come in for the coach, Zonic, who was the stand-in. Well, look at these stats.
But that's one map and two maps. Come on.
Zonic's a beast.
Yeah, turns out Zonic's all right, man. Maybe there's some fans out there who are like, maybe Karrigan should have flown in and just had
the coach?
Yeah, just had it off and coach.
Jet lag.
Yeah, it's jet lag. It's a real thing.
We can ask the players who they'd rather have.
It's why I was so terrible on week 1. So that's the excuse I'm using.
I know, and I was going down. I was great week 1. And
definitely don't say, "Oh, you were great, Rich." You know, I'm not fishing for compliments here.
I'm not a liar.
Okay.
I'm not a fish.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's talk about where we go here. We got Cash coming up, and this is a map that we feel, NRG can be competitive on this map from time to time. It's not particularly amazing for starters. It's not one of the ones you would immediately go to and say it's one of their top picks. But however, based on that, I think there's a big psychological factor coming into it. So let's just start talking about some of the elements.
Well, when you said this is a David and Goliath, we need people to understand this is like a David and two Goliaths. This is not just one superstar or potential superstar on Astralis. There's multiple. The problem here is NRG mentally aren't good enough to beat them, and then player for player, they just don't have enough firepower to compete. I'm surprised that they were even able to take it that far, so that's the only worrying thing.
I would actually say that there's enough firepower based off overpass. It's just those mental mistakes.
I've just had in my ear that apparently they're hot to trot. They don't want to even take the full warm-up.
Nice.
So we're going to get into our map fly-through, guys. We'll talk about it afterwards. Take it away, James and DDK.
Time to get mad 30, boys and girls, just before this starts. So let's have a comparison of the UMP versus the Bison. The UMP is cheaper. The UMP has 6 times the headshot range versus players who don't have helmets. And it does more damage, does 35 damage per bullet, I think, to 26 of the UMP to the Bison. So there's basically no reason to buy Bison.
I'd rather have a CZ, a banana, and a bunch of grenades, James.
A banana?
Yes. Potassium.
Production, can we get a banana, please, for DDK?
All right, well, it's the pistol round here between NRG and Astralis on Cash. And it looks like NRG are not going to be wasting time. Hot to trot, indeed, charging up middle. And it looks like the device is there by the sandbags area. Not yet spotted, it would seem, as NRG starting to split onto that B bomb site. But there are players all over the place here for Astralis in forward positions trying to meet the rush before it hits the bomb site. And they are getting completely destroyed. It is just 3 left here for Astralis, of which 1 has 5 HP. So not a good time here for Astralis in the retake.
Not looking good, and there isn't much for them to save in this situation. So we'll see what they opt to do. Zepex tries to fight. Zepex goes down. Device going for some headshots. Again, he can try and hold on to his armor here. Oh no, he's had 1 damage of armor. Might as well push in now and kill everybody else. I think there's a kit somewhere, but we have a Dupree running very far away indeed. So with 5 HP, one can imagine he's trying to hold on to his armor here. The max armor you could lose in 1 round, I think, is 40, 35 to 40, if I'm not mistaken. So he can hold on to that for next round. Device is just making himself some money. AWPs are to come, so he will enjoy this bonus. Funnily enough, at the end of round 2, you want about $3,000 or $3,400 in order to buy an AWP on your buy round. Sorry, on the end of round 3. End of round 2, yeah, end of round 2. And he's got $2,700 already, so he's made quite a bit from getting those headshots. And indeed, he's going to go straight for the FAMAS. So Astralis not going to go for the eco here. They want to take down NRG immediately, and that's confidence, Dan.
Yeah, they're one of the best teams in the world at getting very much from very little. From rounds like this, it can be very surprising to see that that rifle. And again, in the hands of Device, it's always going to be pretty scary, but it's all the way towards the other side of the map, so it won't be really an impact on the initial push that we might see out of NRG here, who's just hanging out by the B storage area to begin with. And it looked like they wanted to set up here towards that B set piece to all run in with those grenades, but they're just hanging out right now, seeing if perhaps anybody's pushing any angles. But so far, there is a huge degree of patience from Astralis, who are just waiting for something to happen, and they're waiting to react.
If we can quickly look at the B site, the glass in the B site was shot open very early on, which is how the T's can deploy nades into the B bomb site, and that might have something to do with the fact that there are 3 people stacking the B bomb site here from Astralis, because they may be scared of something coming in, and you would use that window to throw Molotovs to force the CTs away from their positions on the site, just as that Molotov goes towards the sandbag area, which is part of a potential B split that looks to be coming in.
Yeah, so this is really cool from NRG. At the first, trying to kind of pressure into B, and then maybe then playing a slow round to capitalize on any rotation if Astralis were paranoid about a fast push into B, of which there was not. But now, finally, their true intentions are beginning to be revealed. In they go into that B bomb site. First frag made by Zipex here. Trades backwards and forwards, but it's the Danes who are picking up multiple kills here. There are problems here for NRG. They can't even get onto the bomb site. The bomb has been lost, and ELEAGUE is going to have to go in with this UMP, looking for the first engagement, but there are still two other players looking for frags. It will be Zipex as the remainder of Astralis pick up rifles that were on the floor, and you can see the dejection there of the players from NRG. They should have had that one.
That is a face of stress there from Fugly. He is not having a good series right now. Astralis win a very unlikely bye, and you have to wonder if NRG did enough to identify where the stack was from the CT side, and you have to say they didn't. Again, they opened the window over towards the B-bomb site early on, but they didn't really deploy enough grenades to force the CTs away. You saw one go kind of towards the default plant spot, but that was it. There are two Molotovs you can use to put on the site, and that clears out the entire site, basically. We didn't see those come in, and it was a complete failure from NRG. They had some bad luck. Zipex got a kill through the smoke to start things off as well, which caused problems, but
James,
we find Astralis now.
Is it happening? Is it happening? It's Tabson, man. I can feel it happening, but there it is. It did, James. I thought maybe Tabson was going to sell us there, but no. He is going to deliver that consistent response. But what on earth was that? You have to get a look at that later. Goppy taking down Peter. I don't even understand what is going on. He's been paid off by the other team there. And Zipex is just going to take down two as they try to make an exit. You are not allowed to leave unless Zipex says you can leave.
Sometimes things don't go your way, Dan.
No,
that appears to be the situation here for NRG. That said, there's still a minute on the clock, two sites to defend, so you have to wonder, Astralis have a number of options here. Put one person per site, put two people on one site, and then rotate both of them. They have a kit onto Carrigan, and indeed they're going to put one person per site. So Fugly has opportunity, but he's gone to the door, which means as soon as he opens that, they will know exactly where he is, and the element of surprise will be gone. So what is his play now? It seems he maybe wants to run destruction with a nade. No. Okay, so he's looking to see if there's any flank, which he doesn't have the range advantage with the SMG. So Zipex over towards the forklift area, doesn't announce his position. Fugly comes out and will get taken down for free.
Yeah, the sound cue there of opening that door gave up the game, and here it is. There's that team kill. It's like, I mean, that
Fully blind.
Yeah, that's fairly unavoidable. Your teammate just runs into your line of fire.
He was like Data from Star Trek, Dan, but without the thing on his eye.
That's not Data.
Who is it? Oh, who is it then?
I can't remember what his name is, but it's the guy he can't see.
I know, that's
not Data. Data's the android.
I know he can't see, Dan.
Yeah, Data's the android.
All right, never mind Data. Yeah. I guess my Star Trek game is not on points.
Oh, what is he called now, the other guy? I always forget his name. Anyway.
I'm sure production knows.
There are definitely some nerds.
Someone will tell us somewhere, sometime. But for now, we're going to have NRG with that solitary round on the board. Again, we've got a Nico, and it seems they're going to try to have a bit of shock and awe over towards the A bomb site. The door has been opened, a door of opportunity, and it's not going to have bullets raining through it. Flashbang's been deployed, and it seems Astralis are happy to let them plant the bomb, and they'll go for the retake here, try and make things as clean, as confident as possible. Dupree hasn't spotted Fugly towards the close box. Goppy can't re-peek too many more times. He's only got 13 HP. Down he goes. Kirby with 2 kills so far. And Dupree going to push in. And Fugly not going to have anything. Zipex on the high ground going to take down Peter and Fugly. So it's a clean retake here for Astralis. They won't be too concerned with the bomb plant. The most important thing is that they survive with no players fallen.
The thing is that I very much think that Astralis they're completely fine in letting the bomb plant go down because they care more about not losing any players. It's much easier for them to retake the site afterwards with grenades and just let the other side have more money and protect their own buys so they can always have good buys themselves than it is risking losing money and losing players. And then maybe there's still a bomb plant anyway. So I really like this consistent approach. There are a lot of teams that are not confident in their own buys enough that they'll give money to the other team, like Astralis just did. So I do like that little nuance there from them, and you can see the child wonder. Well, I would say child. He's not really a child. He's a youngster, but he's not quite a child. So, but he's the new upcoming talent out of Denmark, of course. Kirby And he's been showing that not only is he an intelligent player, he's got a lot of raw skill to throw into the mix as well.
We have a technical timeout. Zonic has been chewing some cables as well. So they're just sorting out the sound on his coach PC, and then we will be back into the game here. So this is a good opportunity for both teams to have a bit of a discussion. You see Godby barking yet more orders. We see the buy coming out. We'll discuss that later on because it's a sound issue. I don't think it's fair to really talk about who's buying what right now.
You've been talking about chewing through cables a lot, James. Are they made of, is the insulating material made of licorice or something? What's going on?
I'd have to ask production then. I have no idea.
Maybe I should get on this cable businthis. Seems
But then
quite popular.
we'd have more pauses then.
We'd have more pauses, yes, that is true.
Yeah, that's not good. So hopefully this will be fixed now. It's funny, we can just always hear Godby never stops talking, which is great. Great for his team as well, keeping everybody in line, keeping everyone focused. If you are just joining us, NRG find themselves a map down versus Astralis and 2 rounds down on Cash, which, again, I mean, is there a weak map for Astralis at this point?
No, I mean, the thing is that Astralis are... Well, okay, there is essentially, you have cobblestone, but they're working on that. The thing is they've actually shown, I think in an interview that was done not so long ago, I believe it was Carrigan, he was talking about how they were trying to up their cobblestone game. They started picking it in some leagues and so on to try to get more experience there. So it is something that they are working on. You'll see them vetoing it here or there. But the thing is that they can play every single map. They're one of the teams at the top level that have one of the deepest map pools. It's very hard to get an advantage against them on one of the maps in particular. And there aren't that many teams that can say the same.
Interestingly, if I'm not mistaken, Dan, Cobblestone is the last map of this best of 3. So you have to wonder who the last map will favor if NRG can get there. Will they have a strong advantage? Are they strong on the map themselves?
It's interesting because also at the timing of KGB swapping with Dignitas and Dignitas getting, Kirby going from Dignitas to Astralis, Kirby was, is a really nice cobblestone player. It's a map that Dignitas are very good at. So he's going to have a lot of experience to also help Astralis with in their foray into bolstering their game on cobblestone, of which they've been doing. So they must be quite confident on it. And against NRG, you would imagine they've got definitely a plan to use to try to work at all the weaknesses that they might expect NRG to have. I mean, they are a team that does prepare quite a lot. They knew their group ahead of time, so there has been a lot of preparation for Astralis to do.
Indeed. So this is going to be a difficult best of 3 for NRG. I really feel like Astralis are a team who have had a number of opportunities to be the best team in the world, but have never quite made it there. Could this be their year, Dan?
There has been some periods where they were even able to take down Fnatic and so on, but they couldn't win those majors. They couldn't get quite deep enough in those majors. They'd had a lot of runs to the quarterfinals and semis, but that's when they started to have real problems. And it did often seem like they had psychological issues, psychological breakdowns, and that's been the storyline for them in the past. And that's really been all that's stopped them. We know that they have the skill, they've got a deep enough map pool, they've got the experience, they've got great leadership, they have everything. But that psychology, you can never underestimate the effect that has.
Well, we're back into the game. The jukebox is playing again for Zonic, and he will maybe enjoy the tune, maybe not. It'll be up to NRG to decide the fate of that, perhaps. 1 up on the team on the map at the moment, that is with Peter. You can see him heading over towards Squeaky Door in case there's a push. I think it's likely that we will see pushes come through Squeaky later on in this map. Dupree playing close to the T side of mid. See some initial nades coming in, some harassment. It can be had that the T's execute nades through smokes, but never mind that. Through smokes, Zipex will get 2 kills through the door. That is a massive problem for NRG. Everything slows down for them now. They've only got 2 people over towards A. One coming in for a bit of a flank through the smoke. That's ELEAGUE. ELEAGUE loves a good smoke here, but it's not going to love him back. Dupree will punish him. 2 versus 5.
Yeah, not much you can do in a spot like this. You just need astounding individual performances, but that is starting to occur here. Just winning those one-on-ones, respectively, Godby and tabseN. Now they get a bump on in a 2 versus 3. This is looking quite nice, but there is a good selection of grenades here for the Astralis side, and they have a triple-pronged retake coming in, which is not going to be expected. However, Godby gets that first good peek onto Device, but Dupree's in onto tabseN, just leaving Godby. They know where he is. They're going for the engagements, but they're giving him 1 versus 1s, but it's Dupree that closes it down, gets that bomb defused for Astralis, and they will steal away around from NRG. They did get the bomb down, did NRG, so that's going to give them some more money, but it is quite an annoying round to lose.
I think there's a fair chance they're going to go for the force here because they did so much damage to the CT economy, and they have an opportunity to do so. They can go for the force here and keep up the pressure. Some of the players will be lacking grenades if they do that, but they might just have enough. We've got Gobby with extra money, Tabson with extra money, Fugly with extra money as well. They can go for a bit of a basic execute should they choose to. We'll see if they manage to do that. We have another pause coming in. Not sure why just yet, but perhaps it will be filtered through to us shortly. So
yeah, and well, the thing about this Astralis lineup, you're saying about the deep map pool, James, but the talent pool is just as deep, and the desk are talking about him all the time. But Device is always going to be a key player, and he hasn't been super prolific just
why just yet, but perhaps it will be filtered through to us shortly. So
yeah, and well, the thing about this Astralis lineup, you're saying about the deep map pool, James, but the talent pool is just as deep, and the desk are talking about him all the time. But Device is always going to be a key player, and he hasn't been super prolific just yet in this series. Do you think he's going to be standing up on Cash?
Well, the first map of the day just passed. He wasn't having great success with the AWP. They have Karrigan there if he needs to pick up the AWP. And Device was beasting with the rifles. So one way or another, Device is going to have a serious impact on this game.
All right, well, we have a quick piece on Device to give you guys a bit of a more in-depth look there. And we'll take a quick break whilst we just iron out the kinks here.
Device is our star player.
Device is the star player on our team.
Device is the star player. He consistently delivers, puts up the numbers.
Device is going to be the first to strike.
My name is Nikolai Reed, and I'm from Denmark. My alias is Device, and I play for Astralis.
Pretty much build our playing style around him.
The door burst open, and out comes 4 frags for Astralis, make that 5.
I think Astralis is special as a team because we're as close as we are. We're not colleagues, but we're friends.
For Astralis, moving together as a unit.
Device is a really strong player when it comes to both offing and playing rifles, and he's a really clever player at the same time.
Oh, there we go. Quick push from Device.
We set him up for every position he wants.
Device picking up a headshot there.
Basically, Kobe Bryant of our team.
Oh, that was disgusting.
I got my alias from when Windows is booting up. It's stuck like since I was 12 years old.
Device running.
Oh my goodness, pulling
the crosshair
with that spray, finds the headshot.
Device is fun to watch because of just how high his ceiling is.
To be a great CSGO player is to have the mindset, the work ethic, and talent for it as well.
Device trying to survive, and he's doing a good job of it.
I think CSGO is as popular as it is because it's a competitive game and it's easy to feel what the teams are feeling when they're playing. Going into ELEAGUE, I'm looking forward to spending a lot of time in the US. I love being here, and it's a huge prize pool, and I feel like we have the capability of beating any team.
All right, time to get back into things. So Zonic had a few more sound issues, but it seems that they have been resolved, hopefully permanently now.
Absolutely.
Device, he got his name from a computer then. If it was me, it would have been like WinNuke95. That would have been my name. Or even WinNuke98 then.
Would have been Amiga for me.
More about that later. We have NRG indeed going for the force. They sense weakness, Dan. And we saw, I wanted to mention that previously, Fugly's breaking the window very early on. I didn't even know that you could shoot it from there, but indeed he did it with a Glock in the previous round. Now he does it with an AK, so that's early problems for the Astralis side. The Molotovs to force them from their position. One flying into the vent as well. Karrigan moves forward. Normally you see people move into the B bomb site. That's going to weaken B. There's only one person there.
Yeah, but it's Device, and he's got the AWP as well, and let's see if he's going to be able to hit those shots. He's got some support to distract these Ts to allow him a bit more breathing room there to try to maneuver on the site to get more angles. But there it is, the shot through the box onto Fugly. There's 2 more players oncoming through the smoke, through the flames, but it's Dupree and Karrigan who are helping out Device, and he's going to nail his shots. 2 for 2 there with the AWP, and the bomb is truly in control of the CT side. Astralis are sitting on top of that, and Tabson 1 versus 5 with a minute to go to reclaim that bomb. Nice little flash, but there's only so much surely he's going to be able to do here. There's 3 players. What is Tabson doing? Crazy stuff there, but still not enough. Just too many in the way of numbers for the Danish side. 5-1. Astralis locked down the B defense.
I think NRG's push was slowed down there because normally when you throw Molotov from outside A into the vent, the CT moves into checkers, into the B bomb site, but Karrigan moves into mid instead. Maybe because those early Molotovs came down, but for whatever reason, he moves into mid. And I think NRG were expecting him to be in checkers. I don't know if their vision was obscured or something, but I can only imagine that was why they didn't move into the site faster, because they had really fast Molotovs, got over there quickly, but they allowed the CTs to rotate. Didn't take down Device. Again, we're missing the Molotovs on the B bomb site here for NRG. That said, they didn't have many nades, didn't have a lot of money there, so they had to pick their nades wisely. And they will go for the Force again. We have the UMP, tons of pistols, the odd flashbang, the odd smoke.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, that's for sure. Device is actually going to get some presence here. I love how he just burst the event for his teammates. But what? What Karrigan as he's falling just gets a ridiculous headshot on God B. But the bomb will go down here. This was the plan all along. Can they get any damage to go with it? Any frags to be had? No. Zepex gets both kills there. But again, the bomb does get planted. But as you mentioned previously, the reason we had that force buy situation out of NRG is because they realized that the economy was weakened for Astralis, but no more. They've had some clean rounds here. However, the bomb goes down. That's an extra $800. There is the max loss bonus here as well for the NRG side. So that means they'll get $4,200 in this round, which is plentiful. It's a plentiful supply of cash, James, to buy.
So after the early struggles from Astralis, they have survived with 8 players in the last 2 rounds, which means they're going to be in a better financial situation. Zipex moves out of CT Spawn with $10,000 in the bank here, so NRG's chances to break the economy of Astralis have more or less passed for now. You see Gobby, this smoke is to cut off the main AWPing angles here over towards the bomb site. That will help NRG take over the checkers area. However, we see a smoke from the CTs as well, which will choke off the point for the time being. NRG trying to harass towards A. There are 3 players over towards A. Now we see the push from Device through Squeaky, the push that Peter was looking for previously.
Ooh, Device is getting aggressive here as well. Through that Squeaky door indeed, and it's going to be Dupree picks up the frag in middle whilst Device sort of herds the NRG side away from A. So really, truly, Astralis understand exactly what's going on right now for NRG's movements, and that's really bad because Astralis is setting up a perimeter around them, although Godby will expand out of that perimeter and start just hitting it with the hammer that was his AK, but he's going to get taken down, leaving just Peter left with that AWP. And this is a tough spot because they are going to be hunting him down. Their money is good, just as James mentioned. So it'd be very, very valuable for Astralis to take Peter out here. There's Yorp trying to get it done, but he's going to be attacked from 2 sides. It's Device who gets it, though. And no one lost in that attempt to kill Peter. That's a really impressive result for Astralis.
Yeah, you can see Peter was quite frustrated there as well. Every time he stopped scoping, there was a peek coming in. That's got to be really annoying. Nice play by Karrigan to hold things down over towards the B bomb site. And Astralis are having massive success now. It's not just the score. The score is 7-1, but it's also the fact that they are surviving with more and more players and making more and more money. We see another pause, but this time it's a timeout from NRG, a tactical timeout, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are down 1-7. They haven't found any consistency, and they have the max loss bonus. So money is not really an issue. Winning the round is an issue. I mean, they're going to have plenty of buys because every time you lose a round, you get the bonus you get is it builds and builds and builds until you get 5 losses in a row, and then it just maxes out at $3,400. And at that point, you've got enough money to buy very consistently. So they need to find a way to win one of these rounds to just actually stop Astralis from running away with this, because that's what's happening right now. They are truly running away with it. And the thing is that we've seen Device on B, James, static defending B rushes, but he's also pushing Squeaky door in the next round. What is this guy doing? How do you play against that?
Exactly. We have to credit how dynamic the CT side is being from Astralis, because you have to say, the question for NRG is, where is the weakness? What is the weakness we can exploit? But there isn't even a default setup from Astralis that they can exploit at the moment. As Dan said, Device is here, Device is there. Peter was looking for Device early on in previous rounds towards the Squeaky door. Didn't find anything there. The moment he looks away, there's Device, almost like the Virtus Pro of old. They were always surprising you. They were never there when you wanted them to be. The moment you look away, they appear and take you down.
That's the funny thing, the question you asked there, where is the weakness? And that's the fact that there is always going to be a weakness. There will always be something that you can exploit, but in a as James mentioned, because Astralis is so dynamic, the weakness moves around and it's obscured. So it's always constantly moving around. So round for round, NRG are going to have to try to understand just, okay, what can we do here to really abuse Astralis? And one thing that could work out quite well is just a straight up mid take. Try to delay the round, play it slow, take middle away. That's a really nice bit of map control. Once you've got that, just see what response there is from Astralis and see what you can get out of it. Because that's it. Once you have that mid, you can build into B, you can build into A. You restrict information from the CT side. Sometimes the CT's team will say, okay, okay, we don't have any information right now. Let's go for a play there. And if you predict which play they're going to go for, you can get that kill, and then that's the advantage you need to win the round on the bomb site. So there are options here for NRG.
The game is resuming. We have a half buy coming in for NRG. If they lose this round, they have enough in the bank for most of them to be able to fall by, save for, well, Fugly actually, he's got 750 in the bank, so he'll be able to get an AK as well. So let's see what they can offer. They've got many more nades than they've had in previous rounds this time, and again, they're going to be heading towards the B bomb site for some harassment. But we've got Kiabi and Device in mid, and it seems they might be going for a very fast boost. Indeed, they are. So if Kiabi goes for a peek here, there might be more problems. But B's been completely abandoned because of the smoke. This is really interesting. Karrigan's played on the confidence of that smoke being there, and he's gone into mid to hold an angle over for Kiabi, and now they see that nobody's there. Kiabi's gone over to the boost in A main, but Karrigan can't get back into position fast enough.
Yeah, so they give up the B-bomb side. The question is, can they retake it? They were going for the gamble on that A attack. It didn't pay off. Now they've got to use their superior weaponry to get in there. Device with the first headshot onto Peter there. Oh, that is savage there. Takes that leg as well. Device gets the third kill. And now there's just 2 players left coming in for NRG. gorup and tabseN sitting on that bomb as it ticks away. But there's loads of time here for Astralis. Device claims his 4th victim. There is yet one more victim still to be had. tabseN will go into the open. Ridiculous shot onto Device. What is this, tabseN? Gets all the remaining kills for the ace. And that's the round there. NRG secure it in the most incredulous fashion. And Astralis, I mean, they did well to almost get that far because they gambled on the A play, James.
Yeah, they took a gamble. Again, Karrigan putting down the smoke. You can't come through this because it's a smoke. Almost paid off for them, but just could not get back into position in time. Who knows what happens if he's in position, if he's in the rear with the gear on the B-bomb site when he needs to be. There we go. NRG allowed back into the game now, back on the buy. That said, this means NRG have won a round, which means if they lose a round, we see they haven't got much money in the bank, and if they lose a round, then Astralis could absolutely dominate the rest of this half. So it's all to play for here. Peter off to a good start now. Device going for a squeaky push once again, but this time Peter's ready for it. He's waiting for it again, and he gets the frag.
Yeah, so it's slowed down here a little bit for NRG, and this is, just mixing up that pace is always going to be good to see if Astralis will do something, especially considering that Astralis are in a position where they lost a player early. Usually the CT side, they want to have their best chances to defend. And to do that, they need information to know which side and how that side is going to be attacked so they can set up correctly. So in this spot, they might go for an aggression. And that's what NRG are that's why they're waiting right now, because they're waiting to see if Astralis will push somewhere to find out where they will attack. And Astralis, they're smarter than that in this instance. They're just going to try to go for a bit of a gamble. And with Astralis in a situation where the money is as it is, it's not perfect. They could even potentially save. If it's like a really heavy B hit, they lose it straight away, they might decide to save 3 rifles. So Astralis playing a pretty interesting reaction here.
NRG playing the clock once again, but we saw this fail on the previous map. How long are they going to wait to push the site? That said, the longer they wait, you have to wonder if Astralis will start to get nervous. They've still got 3 people over towards the A site. Great flash coming into Fex. Has he spotted Fugly? That would give the game away. He's gone down to tabseN though, opening the door. So now Astralis have problems. Fugly holding angles, but there are 20 seconds and still 2 people to find. Down goes Dupree. Flames and bullets coming his way. Kiabi has to go huge here. It looks like they can't stop the plant. Trying to run away. It's Kiabi alone now versus 5. Not a single man down for NRG just yet. And Kiabi will be wiped out. Perfect round from NRG. That is a very expensive round for Astralis, but they will be able to buy on the next one. Now we see Peter looking for Device. In position early, and he gets that important frag.
So it's that's a great adjustment. This is something that Device had shown before. Obviously, you never want to be too predictable. And the question is, most teams, who have a, aggressive peak, depending on how risky it is, they might only show it once, just for that element of surprise. But Device showed that play twice now, and looks like it was actually expected this time. Either way, let's see if Peter can do more good work here for his team. Device looking like he's going to be holding down the middle area, actually, sorry, the B site with the checkers position, and we've got only 1 member of Astralis on the A bomb site right now, so there is somewhat of a vulnerability there early in the round.
tabseN's been shot in the head through the door at Squeaky. He's got 8 HP there. He's seen nobody.
But that's not information I don't think that Astralis will have, but that does suck, because now he can't really take an engagement.
Yeah, we know what a solid fragger he is for his team, but if he's going to be trying to go for entries in this round, he may be denied. he may be denied entry, Dan, like Carrigan was on day one.
Yeah, absolutely. Nicely done. So let's see how NRG decide to construct this round now. They've waited very patiently. Astralis mixed things up, a very dynamic setup. They had very many players in middle. And Carrigan's going to push that forwards. They're going to double down their push into that T warehouse, get a frag as well. Device whiffing a shot there towards B storage as NRG with 40 seconds left in the round decide to go for a mid take. And here it is. Dupree is in position, takes down Got B. There's more players for the trade, but Kirby's there in for support, helping out Dupree. Dupree might be able to get this frag, but no. Taps him from the top. This guy is dangerous, even on 8 points of health. He is dangerous, but that bomb needs to get planted now. 30 seconds left, and they are still not on a bomb site. And Peter's running all over the place right now. 20 seconds. He's barely going to have time to make his way onto a site. He's going to have to run all the way. And he is indeed. And it looks like the B bomb site is fairly clear, so this might actually happen here, but it's going to be with just a couple seconds to spare. Tabson waiting for that rotation, and there it is. Takes down Kirby. This is ridiculous. Tabson's doing so much work. Zipex is in close. He's going to take down the planter. There's no time. Zipex knows he just has to wait, and he gets the kill off the time on Tabson, adding insult to injury.
Tabson killed 3 people with 8 HP, and you can see his face. Look at that, that's depression. He's like, I had 8 HP, man. I killed 3 people, but no, still denied.
What else do I have to do?
Still refused. And this is almost worst case scenario. It's very fortunate for NRG that they won 2 rounds in a row, and they won that previous round with nobody dying. Otherwise, they'd have no money right now, but a buy still comes out for them. And the Astralis have got no money in the bank. This is a crucial round for both teams.
Yeah, and it's great to see how much work Zipex has been doing, as we just saw on the graphic. He's a support player for the team, but sometimes he goes big, clutch player, and we got a potential fast movement here. It's been spotted, and Carrigan's going to be jumping in to help Device out. Device taking a defensive position by this headshot angle, just back into the bomb site though, and the AWP is scoped up and ready to receive its first victim. There it is, Legia goes down. What else can Device do here? Spots the second, makes quick work of Godby as a third player, and Device falters. But has he done enough? That's the question, as NRG try to get into the bomb site, but there are so many Danes in. What is this, Peter? Through the smoke, great prediction shot, and one after another, like dominoes, they all fall. Great round from NRG. They secure the 4th round.
So it's Astralis who are going to be reset. Lose 2 rounds, win 1 round, lost bonus gone, lose the next round. $1,400, here you go, buy something with that. They can barely buy soup with that, Dan. 4-8 now, NRG looking to catch up. AWP onto Peter, look at this shot. This is VAC, if ever I saw it. Somebody send this man to the police.
Oh dear, and look at the result. It's poverty, James. Astralis are impoverished. There is naught which they can buy with. But they can stack towards the bomb site, and that is what they have chosen to do. Now let's see if they can get something done with this. They have a single flashbang, James. $200 of investment. Will it turn a profit?
The thing is, NRG haven't had good anti-ecos so far on this map. That said, Astralis are so poor they can't even buy more powerful pistols. They don't really have much going on, but there is a flashbang coming in. And we have many players coming in. 2 players down for NRG. What is going on here? They've got smokes down towards the car position, but there's still many areas for Astralis to play with. Fugly coming in with an important flank, but it's still a 3 versus 3. The guns are not retrievable, though, by Astralis, because there are still 2 players in A main where those guns had fallen.
Yeah, there's definitely possibility here, but the pistols are so incredibly weak here from the CT side. It would be so demoralizing for NRG to lose to this. They know they should get this every single time with 5 players left alive, let alone 3. There's another frag coming in from Fugly, but the headshot found by Carrigan. A 1 versus 2 now. The bomb will be planted. Carrigan picks up an AK-47, gets flashed by Tabson and annihilated. Tabson providing the goods once again. This guy has been so important for NRG. He's on 19 kills, James, already. Despite NRG only having 5 rounds, Tabson has 19
3
frags.
of their players have got 4 frags each. 4. I've got more fingers than.
So if
Next round 14. Well, that's good to know that. I mean, if we look at what an anti-eco is, one team has no money. They will often put loads of players on one site, try and use a dirty flashbang and overwhelm the players while they're blind. That's exactly what Astralis did. And when you expect that situation, you should try to play against that. You use the Molotovs, try to force the other team away from certain areas that help them do that. But NRG are not doing a great job of this in this half so far.
Yeah, to give an idea, the flashbang cost $200. They didn't buy any pistols. And they killed, what, 3 players? So that's roughly, let's say, $15K for $200. I'll take that trade.
Indeed. 2 rounds left, though. And NRG are looking good to potentially take them because Astralis have gone for the force. So we see triple FAMAS coming out. They've got 4 flashbangs. No more smokes once this one disappears. Device will need to duel. I mean, that's not a bad thing, though. The way things are going at the moment, he's got himself 16 frags already. And again, NRG struggling on the kill count, save for Tabson. Tabson is dragging the carcasses over the line round after round down.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Yeah, his performance in ELEAGUE has been just amazing. What a player. Now we have NRG starting after, you know, quick spurt of patience, getting themselves into some mid control. Now that they've eliminated those early aggressive possibilities, although they have lost Legia, of course, and that is going to be annoying. They are on the T side, so they can concentrate their plays to still have the player number advantage.
You see this smoke going towards short. This denies information to the CT side. They don't know if the Ts are using this smoke to get close to the site, and if they are, A, that limits the positions that CTs can hold, but B, it makes a split very likely as well. But Carrigan comes in for the flank. Nobody watching the angle. That's Tabson and Fugly down. 5 versus 2 now. This is a disaster. This is not the round NRG wanted to lose. No one down for Astralis. We mentioned how poor they were. Perfect round. All AKs being picked up. No more FAMAS is down.
We're seeing a lot of like these small mistakes that are very basic. Like no one was covering the flank.
They had 2 people behind the smoke, and they're both looking at the smoke, Dan. The smoke is not that interesting.
It's not really, no.
Somebody needs to look at the back. Somebody needs to hold down the back.
You got to hold the flank. That's basic. I do that when I walk down the street.
That is some ABC, Dan. But they went from A to Z. They tried to skip some letters, and they were punished for doing so. Know your alphabets, Dan. That is the lesson to learn here.
ABC.
And now we see, well done. Now we see pistols coming out for NRG. 2 AKs. Now they are the ones who are impoverished, Dan. They are the ones below the breadline.
I'll come back to the ABCs later. We have, indeed,
what do we have there?
The horrible buy, the pistols. Let's see if they can do something. This is a great play from Device. He's moved into a very forward position.
This is the Bardolph position there.
This is a spot that you can hold. This is an off angle. So when players will move there, they won't expect you to, they won't be covering that angle or expecting you to be there. And so he can kind of shoot you in the side. Very powerful. He can hold it down himself. He can get forward information. He knows that now that the opposing team is not moving in that position. He's even going for even more aggression here. He is getting, well, some would say, you know, quite greedy. That position was already great, and he's going to get even more information for a backstab. He's going to find a player here as well. Oh no, that's why it can be greedy. You got Fugly close range with a pistol, able to take down the Device, but the rest of Astralis holding it down in middle. But it's a 3 versus 4 here in favor of NRG, so they've got a lot working for them. Tabson going in. There is the AK-47 kill. He's got the nades as well to try to block off some angles as the bulk of the team move in. Now Zipex, he's been having the best game for Astralis here on Cash so far. He smoked off James. He can't see.
He cannot. So he needs to take a gamble. He needs to try and find a timely push through the smoke. And he's just going to creep through the smoke here. And the bomb's going down and nobody else is on the site. They need to come in for a big rotation. But Tabson will indeed do so. So the last round goes in favor of NRG. But they will need more favor as they are still 3 rounds behind Astralis. We saw weakness on the anti-ecos from NRG. If we see weakness on their CT side when they're on the defense, then they may have a lot of trouble coming their way.
And will Tabson continue to dominate? And will Zipex, the support man of Astralis, continue to provide those numbers as well? It remains to be seen. We'll be back very shortly to discover what's going to happen in the second half here on Map 2 between NRG and Astralis. Welcome back, ladies and gents. You can see that the studio is starting to fill up with people to try to witness the magnificent action that we have on display here at ELEAGUE. We have NRG and Astralis soon to be battling off in the second half of map 2, which is Cash. And Zipex, the support player, an unlikely top fragger for Astralis, but it's really Tabson who has been going I don't even know what's going on right over there for Tabson, but he is just wrecking people left, right, and center, James.
He is, but there's still 3 rounds behind. He needs his team to show up. He needs his team to hold down these bomb sites here. Otherwise, we're looking at a 2-0 for Astralis.
It is definitely looking like that is a distinct possibility, but they're on the T side, and there are a lot of teams that do prefer the T side. I have to see how comfortable Astralis are, and I'm quite curious too what NRG with the new look NRG with the new players, how they're going to perform here on the defensive side of Cash. But it's all going to start here with the pistol round. This will set the pace for the next few rounds to come, and Astralis already getting into middle.
Look at this rabid aggression from the CTs over towards the A bomb site. We've got a 2-man push through Squeaky. Tabson looking at main as well, and they're going to go for the rotation here. But there's still no ultimate decision from Astralis. They're just hanging around. They're biding their time. Dupree's going to get taken down in the mid area. Device still over towards A, but he's on the boost, so he's going to move into mid quickly. And you see Checkers has been taken. And NRG forced off the site now. Got B. What's he going to do here? He can't really push for the smoke on his own. That would be madness since he's got a man advantage for his team at the moment. Fugly coming in for the flank. Peter still rotating away from the A bomb site as the bomb gets planted on B.
There it is, that bomb has been planted. The time has been set up on the CTs to get themselves in there. But will they do it in time to defuse the bomb? They have a kit on Legia that will take the defuse time from 10 seconds to 5. But here they go, they're getting in very fast here, rushing down the bomb site. There's only one player to attention on the site itself, but in goes Carrigan and Device. But there is a defuse on the way, they've got to take him down. It's Legia, he secures the defuse, and Carrigan gets the kill, but that's not going to count, doesn't matter. Who gives a damn, James? Because the round will go to NRG.
That defuse, man. He was like, I can be your hero, baby. He died immediately after defusing the bomb, Dan. Immediately. That was the hero of hero defuses. Nice work by Astralis, but it wasn't enough. And again, I like the rapid aggression over towards B at the beginning. Often we see the CT side playing A passively, and the Ts will try and sneak up there. NRG doing the exact opposite. Either way, it works out for them. Now, can they defend against the force buy?
Yeah, they've gone for a force buy with the bomb plant. Usually teams, they get that bomb plant, they wait around, they get a full buy already. So most teams are content with that. But we've got a surprise. This is a surprise buy for
Sergeant Stokes mode, Dan.
They got 2 AK-47s. That is dangerous. And now it's been spotted. Dupree, they know he has an AK, so they know that there's a buy, but can they stop it? Can they contest these AK-47s somehow? And this is why they're going over the boost, because those AKs are super strong in these engagements at these ranges. NRG should want nothing to do with this, and indeed they will back away. But will they be able to defend where Astralis decide to push? Because they still have options here. Now they have middle.
We see a boost coming in from the CTs, if I'm not mistaken, towards the vent. So Lugopi could take them by surprise. We see the call being made by the other side, and down goes Legia. So we've got Astralis still in control of mid. Gobi's been forced away from the vent. He can't do much there. Tabson gambling through the smoke, not going to make a connection. Astralis can split towards either side, but there's a push coming in from Peter towards the B-bomb side. Device missing the deagle shots, but that's going to run distraction. He's got support as well. There's still 45 seconds left, but Peter wins the frag there. Hasn't been traded by Device either. Tabson taking down Dupree elsewhere. So now it's a 2-man push over towards the A site with the bomb.
And Kirby's in there by Forklift. There is a smoke to obscure vision, and Carrigan's going to go for the bomb, but there is a CT close, and Kirby's got to do the damage. There's a quick headshot found, and Device is going to be circling back in from A main, and the bomb is needing to be planted here in the next 30 seconds. Kirby will go for it, but again, as CTs are close, it's just Device left now with nothing but a deagle and 16 points of health. Good shot, but he won't be able to connect with the frag. Some good damage, but these CTs do not really have to face. He's got a plant, and there it is. Long range UMP is going to do the job from God B, and some AK-47s are going to be the reward.
Yeah, that's the 2 early AKs. You see Gobi saying it's easy. He's boosting his players. He's giving them confidence, keeping them focused as well. But they need to stay focused. They can't afford to make mistakes against a team the power of Astralis. If NRG win this round, which they should, because Astralis won't have much to offer in terms of weaponry, it's only going to be 9-9. They are far away. Both teams are far away from winning this. And again, it is Astralis who are a map up. So we'll see if that confidence boost goes in the right direction. It looks like we have a meaty nade coming in. Speaking of meaty nades, we had a nice nade from Legia towards the boost position, which is actually very hard to nade indeed. Carrigan going for an early peek there to Gobi, trying to get some headshots. No connections made just yet, though.
No, absolutely not. And they are losing health along this mission so far, and there's only so much health Caught with a nade out there though, and looks like they're going to walk into his spray. Well, fair enough then. I'll just get both kills with the UMP. That's an extra $1,200 for him in kill bonus, so he's feeling good about that. He can go and buy a nice watch. Now it's Dupree here in the event with that PT50 that's doing some damage. 2 HP, and then there's the finishing blow. tabseN, no less, is going to be falling. And maybe they can collect the weapon as well. Looks like the AK is up for grabs, but eLEAGUE is going to be darting around to take down both players, and he puts a stop to that.
He's got a bomb as well, so perhaps one of the other CTs with a UMP will move closer to him to pick up that AK, which is down once the round is over. You see Peter's actually close. He's full health as well, so he can support his teammate, play the trade if eLEAGUE gets taken down from A, but we have a player over towards A as well. So all good in the hood for NRG in this particular situation. Device gets taken down, and indeed Peter should upgrade to the AK. He will do exactly that. So nice guns retained here by the CT side, and those AKs on the CT side definitely can even up some duels between Astralis, who are going to buy the AKs themselves now.
And it's the AWP on Peter that might be one of the focal points of such rounds. Again, he's such an explosive, or can be such an explosive player.
He's got a good spawn as well, which means he can drop into B if he wants to and take the immediate duel lines against Astralis. If he spawned further back into CT spawn, then he couldn't do so. He's going to go mad aggressive here. That's a nasty surprise. Great shot though, and he can't get a second frag. We'll see if Astralis choose to push. They're going to go for a fast play. It seems that tabseN's in for support. There are multiple players in the CT area, in mid-area, sorry, to try and hold things down here. Trades for both sides, 2 versus 2 in about 10 seconds, that.
Yeah, and the Astralis, they have the bomb aside as well, which is a nice combination. And that will mean that the bomb will be planted. Device is on the bomb side. He might choose to stay here, as he's got a teammate on the other side. Doesn't want to cross across the smoke, or will he go there as well? It's always going to be a guessing game for the CTs as they make their way in, and you can see tabseN lining up a smoke for the B storage area, because that's a very common spot to play from as the Ts want to defend. Here are just all the nades. They're just tossing everything in there. And once that grenade fades, it is going to be time to go. And there it is. The smoke dissipates, and tabseN starts moving in, but the time is really going away very quickly on the bomb here. And Device, he's going to step out and just eliminate both players. Easy does it, 10-9. Astralis take the lead, but both teams are struggling on the money.
Yeah, I mean, Peter took a massive gamble there. He could, as I said, he could just go to his left and hold the initial angle here, but he wanted to get aggressive. We see Fox doing this with FaZe as well. Tries to push the B area. No support for Peter, and that basically lost him the round because he picked the wrong time to do it. Not 1, not 2, but 3 Astralis players there to mow him down. The grass has been cut.
I think this is kind of crazy. tabseN has 27 kills. The closest player on his team has 9. That's such an odd kind of way for the kills to be going here for both teams. But we got a boost here from Device. This would really be demoralizing if he was to connect a shot from here. We'll have to see if he's going to be getting anything. There is quite some time to be patient, but the quick door push, quick door aggression actually secures an early round frag onto Zipex, and that means Astralis are down a man. So NRG finding some advantages here.
Yeah, there aren't an amazing amount of nades here for Astralis, but enough for Device to throw a smoke over towards the connector area, or horseshoe, as I think it might be called in America. So Astralis moving into the mid-area. They don't have any lurkers towards A now. There is one over towards B, though, which could suggest a B split through the vents. But that said, we have Kiabi having a look over towards A. Maybe trying to run a fake, looking towards Squeaky now. But again, the bomb... They'll need a player to rotate and pick up the bomb. There's 2 players in the mid-area, and it seems NRG are going to go for a bit of harassment. We see tabseN and eLEAGUE moving through to connector again. So we might see Device in trouble. He's exposed, and he's going to get taken down from a boost over the smoke here. Kiabi soon follows as well. So it's a 2 versus 5. There's time on the clock, but not personnel for Astralis.
And they haven't spotted Dupree, even though Device died next to him. Dupree knows this, so he actually is going to capitalize on surprise potentially, but no, eLEAGUE is covering the angle as he should, because they are still 5 left alive. They've got lots of personnel to cover all these spots, and now Carrigan against 5 players, against 20 seconds, against a defensive setup that he just cannot deal with. It is tabseN picking up the kill, of course, I believe, and then it's going to be a 10-10 scoreline now, so all tied up here, and NRG definitely playing a lot closer to Astralis than expected. Of course, you know, for those missing the first map, oh my god, for those missing the first map, it was a very winnable map for NRG. They got very close indeed.
10-10, Astralis have been broken. This is a very strong position now, despite the score for NRG, but can they take it over the line? Astralis have bought 1 deagle, and that's it. So again, this is another situation where you look at rounds like this and you wonder if teams should be more focused on trying to get into a site and getting a bomb down, but it seems Astralis not concerned for the time being, but they have minimal loss bonus at the moment. They'll get $1,900 now if they lose this round, which they should. So the bomb plant would be crucial for them, but indeed they're going to try and well, I don't know. I mean, there's one person with a strong gun here, so you can't even really say that they're trying to do some damage to the economy here because they don't really have many weapons to do it with. So it seems that there isn't much to be done at all in this round for Astralis. Fugly is going to need to have some help to finally get things over the line there. A good round for NRG. And don't lose a single player. And again, there's no plant at all. Peter's parents are here. We'll have to be very polite there.
Exactly. Got Peter's parents in the building. And this is...
don't mention the moustache!
They might be present for what could be one of the biggest upsets, potentially. I mean, if NRG are to pull this result through...
Dan, they are two of the most dangerous people on Twitter now.
Are they? Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm going to be careful there.
They've been wrecking casters left and right, Dan. You better shut the hell up.
All right. I don't know what to do now, James. I'm afraid.
Well, Astralis are going for the buy now, but again, we see the importance of the bomb plant by the lack of utility on their players. They've got a few smoke grenades, a few flashbangs. I don't know what the previous round was about. I mean, a Deagle, you could buy a smoke and a flash, try and get into B or A, try and get a bomb down, but here we go. They're going to go for a fast play, just running through the smoke before flashes come in. Fugly on the side will have the shadow advantage, but he's going to get a Rex down. So is Leg, get a P90 coming out, better than the Bison.
And what do you do? What do you do in this spot? The bomb goes down, there's 5 players left alive. And honestly, I think NRG are making the smart call here. They're just going to go for the save. I mean, Astralis has so much time to set up a good defensive line. And so, you know, NRG will look after their economy. They're responsible, James.
Yeah, this is a smart play, but that's a crucial round there. Astralis just saying, okay, we don't need to plant the bomb in this eco. We'll buy Deagle, have some fun, and we'll just run into A and shoot you in the face. And as we see, the P90 is more than the Bison Dan, as is the UMP, as is the MP9 Dan.
Yeah, and this is a really key round for Astralis to win because their money is in a really terrible place right now, and had they lost this round, they would have had to have saved. And NRG, they save 3 weapons. Their money's quite good already, so NRG are actually going to have a lot of buys left. So NRG still, I would say, in a fairly commanding position in the second half of Cash. And despite, you know, losing that first map in very close fashion, we've got another close map on our hands here, and I'm curious to see what Astralis' response will be, as Device hasn't consistently been able to get in the openings early into the round there for his team.
Now, we see Peter's got a much worse spawn than he had in previous rounds, so he can't necessarily go for those early peaks. And you could say, you know, it's not necessarily a mistake that he did it. Perhaps they didn't have their economy in the right place to do so. He's just shooting through the wall there to open up the vents. So if the CTs choose to boost a player into mid later on, the teams won't necessarily know. But we've got Jules coming in straight away. Leggy getting taken down, but will they spot God beat? They know where he's there now. Players under the boost position. You have to wonder if Astralis will bring some support over there, try and force players out with the Molotov, but they're moving into A, but they're blind. And Fugly spotted a player by the smoke, but his team are going down in the meantime, trying to play the information game. How many kills can he get? He's going for the 2-man spray, and he will find it. Again, Fugly with a multi-kill. That's the bomb as well.
Yeah, massive performance there. Just Dupree left alive, and it does look like they have the positions covered here. Peter's on the angle with the AWP, and there it is. Peter secures the shot and shuts down any chance of a comeback in that round as Dupree will fall. And that is NRG taking the lead. And that's a really key timing to do so, because let's not forget, Astralis just won a round. They did win the round surviving with a lot of players, but still, it is a really nice spot for NRG to be in.
Look at that KD ratio.
Exactly. This guy is going absolutely mental in this series.
Speaking of mental, Fugly could apply for Mensa the way he saw 3 players before engaging one of them on the A bomb site down and crushes the round, winning it for his team. Astralis can get back on the buy. We've got Device picking up the creek here, which is something we see AWPers do from time to time. We see Chris J do this as well, maybe being more comfortable with a scope rather than without a scope. That's maybe why JDM opts for a scout down instead of an AK-47 when he sees one on the floor.
Yeah, and interestingly, I think Zipex was close to Fugly's position. He heard him running around. And had Fugly actually moved forwards, Zipex would have had the kill. So pretty nice for Fugly that he decided not to get more aggressive. But NRG are potentially thinking about going for a play into A main here. They got 2 players close. Looks like they'll just boost. They'll use the smoke to boost again into this position where Fugly pretty much won the round for his team in the previous round. But will that work twice in a row? Depends if Astralis even go to this bomb site. It's not clear just yet, although they do have quite a few players towards the A side of the map. And so in that sense, it's a good read from NRG. But this first engagement from Device could tell us a lot about how this round's going to play out.
Nerd note, this weapon has 100% armor penetration. It cares not for your armor, Dad.
Absolutely not. Device, he won't actually see anything just yet from that position, but he is waiting. but he is finding nothing. Here it is, the first phase in the round. gorup versus Dupree picks up the kill. The trade comes in from Device with the Krieg, though. Looking for the rotating players as the rest of his team march or try to march into the site. Peter's there on the defense, misses the first shot, and he gets eliminated straight away. And Carrigan gets the follow-up kill onto Legia. Astralis in with a very strong round.
Device harassing towards Highway, forcing the remaining CTs away. So NRG about to lose their lead. They have some money here and there, so maybe they can muster something. If they can hold on to these 2 weapons, then there's a fair chance that they go for a buy in the following round. We'll have to see what the decision will be. Astralis surviving with 3 players for the time being at least. The Krieg is gone on Device. But again, it's interesting how some AWPers prefer to go for the Scopes rifle. The Krieg is more expensive than the AK, and the spray pattern will be more unfamiliar than the AK. And we've seen Device beasting with the AK as well, which makes the Krieg purchase even more interesting. tabseN spotted there, so maybe they're less likely to save these weapons. Splash is coming in, but a Molotov might save him.
I think the Krieg purchase was probably because he wants to shoot people at quad from mid. Because if we saw where he moved up mid, was looking up the highway position, I think that's probably was the reason. It's going to be more consistent than the AK to get the headshots there, especially considering the bullet inaccuracy of the AK.
If I'm not mistaken, the AUG is the most accurate weapon when scoped, but I don't think the Krieg would be too far behind. So in terms of more consistent, definitely,
the reason,
yeah, it's going to be super accurate with the scope in tow.
More consistency, and 12 to 12. It's unclear at this point who will win this map, to be honest. And we have Device looking for that flash to deter any AWPers on the angle and get himself safely into a better angle. And will there be a repeat? Yes, there will. Peter gets tagged there a little bit, as does Device, both through objects, so they don't take too much damage. But that grenade is going to leave a Device reeling as he tries to hold this angle still. And we caught players jumping left and right. They are baiting him, James.
But look at the confidence they have in Fugly, the NRG side. They've boosted them up again, and they've left him completely alone on the A site, bolstering the defenses everywhere else. We've got Zipex creeping towards Squeaky Door, and there's time on the clock. We've got lurkers on both sides, but Device moving back now. Legia are going to hold down mid on his own. That's going to allow tabseN to rotate over towards the A site, where we see the T's start to creep in. The door's been opened now. Maybe there's a clue for the CT side. We're going to have flashes all over the shop. Zipex charging in, but Carrigan will steal the kill. Fugly's a trade, though. Again, he's up high, but Zipex will trade back. 2 versus 3 now. The bomb's down on the floor. There's still loads of time, but the rotation's coming in from the CTs. The more time Astralis wait, the more CTs there are to defend with. Legia takes down Zipex. So it's Device with 14 HP. A flying Legia comes in, and that is going to put NRG back in the lead. Astralis win around, lose around, win around, lose around. Their economy is going down and down.
And look at this. We've got the Iron Spy dry, James. The run boost comes in, and NRG, they probably feel good about that, because we can remember the previous run boost from them, James, wasn't so stellar. However, yes, that you can hear how much that round means to NRG. They understand, really truly understand the implications there, because they know that they again are just breaking the economy of their opponent. So we have a timeout coming up from Astralis, which is definitely going to be a tactical one. They need to figure out what the hell's going on right now. They need to try to find a solution, because otherwise they're going to drop a map to NRG here, which would force it to a third.
I'd love to know how many rounds across this week so far Fugly's had multiple kills in one round. I mean, NRG had a pretty bad group stage. That said, there were many rounds that Fugly got 3 kills. We saw it earlier on this map. He just got 2 kills in the previous round as well. So he is doing massive work. I mean, despite the fact that tabseN is going absolutely nuclear with the kills here, at least in the first half, Fugly just across the whole tournament in the rounds that NRG have won has been massively important as well.
And talking about multi-kills, the star players of both respective teams have been doing quite some work here for their teams to try to keep themselves in this. This is one of the actions that we saw, which is absolutely astounding. You get, premium Device here with that AK-47. But in the midst of it all, James, tabseN...
He's got 33 kills down.
It's just tabseN things with that Tech 9. It's ridiculous. I mean, the focus was on Device in this round, and it was easy to miss the fact that tabseN was just ruining everyone.
Tech 9, man.
With a Tech 9.
Tech 9.
Doesn't even have a rifle.
3 CTs left. There goes another one. Thank you for playing goodbye.
What is that?
One last person straight in the face. tabseN, 33 kills back.
He's in the Matrix.
He is the Matrix. He's not in the Matrix. He is the Matrix.
He is the Matrix.
He is the Matrix. So again, the timeout continues here from the Astralis side, perhaps looking to, well, it gives them some time to talk, some time to reset the situation, some time to try and stop the momentum from NRG. I mean, despite these two teams have traded the last 4 rounds. T's win around, CT's win around, and vice versa, but it's NRG who retain the lead. If this continues, then Astralis lose the map.
Indeed, and you can see a pensive look amongst the Astralis players, focused It's always interesting to see the range of emotions that you get across the players as according to what action's actually happening. And right now, you can definitely see that there's a little bit of worry there.
Well, they should be worried, Dan. If they lose this round, it might be the GGs for this map. 3 rifles, 2 pistols, barely any nades on Astralis. Desperate times, desperate measures. Peter going for the normal peek here, and Dupree charges in. That's one of the rifles down straight away. There's no answer from the T's.
And Astralis looking to make their way in A main here to try to get that bomb onto the A site. And there is actually nobody home right now. So they should be able to get the bomb plant pretty much immediately as they go for the cursory check of the most dangerous positions. And indeed, that bomb plant is going to come in. It's not a good plant. It's very hard to defend this one. You can't really have people in the A main area so easily. But it's going to have to do for now.
This smoke is a problem because it allows the CTs to get closer to the site for free, which makes Kiabi's position even more important. He's the only person who has vision in that area towards the forklift, but he's been Molotoved away already. Karrigan playing a surprising position towards the box, trying to punish the CTs for going through the smoke, but they've got time to wait for it to disappear. Tabson opening the door now, and the frags will begin. So far, so good. Karrigan and Kiabi getting frags. Karrigan gets traded, however. 3 versus 2 now. The numbers running out for Astralis as the CTs continue to push. Peter taking down Kiabi. Zipex at the back of the site. He can get multiple frags here. Shoulder peeking coming in. There's many CTs to try and defend it. 2 kills for him, but it's not enough. Is there time for God B? No, there's no time.
Zipex with that money spray down, able to save the day for Astralis. It couldn't be closer than that. 13-13. And again, it's still unclear who is going to take this over the line. Of course, NRG have built up some money, but it's not really enough to give them a good buy in this round. They are going to have to think economically. And you can see right there, when Karrigan realizes that they've managed to pick up the round, he is elated.
Look at the implications of this. NRG's money's been broken. It's been wiped out. This is very tense stuff now. And the problem is, who's going to crack? That's the question. NRG's money's cracked, but will the players crack? I mean, it's going to be a hard press for them to try and win this round. We see some early aggression, doesn't pay off for the side. The nades coming in, the flashes, Kiabi goes down. We've got support for the C's in Squeaky Door. Dupree is holding things down now. Tabson coming in, but these players only have pistols. It looks like Astralis are very good to take this round here. Bit of a boost coming in. Tabson with the P250. Can't get any more done. There's more nades flying in here. 4 versus 2. NRG with no real weapons to try and retrieve. Device coming in with the flank. And now surely ELEAGUE will go down. So after NRG leading things in the last few rounds, their money disappears, their lead disappears.
Absolutely. It's starting to get really tense for NRG. I mean, we're going to see a P90 and 2 UMPs, an AWP and an M4, so and not many grenades as well. And there's 2 kits, so at least there's a couple of kits on the server for them. But it's definitely not an ideal buy. But there's a lot to work with. That's for sure. And Astralis themselves, they're stuck on a Galil and the UMP, and there's no AWP, so both teams really feeling the pain right now. Astralis definitely not too far ahead. Let's see. Oh, Peter's going again aggressive, but he doesn't even get the single frag this time. Godby's got to try to save it. He's got to do something here. He's going to try to delay with these grenades, and he'll be successful, just offsetting the terrorist aggression just for the moment. But he's going to have to deliver some kills here.
He's got support from a player this time, but he just can't afford to take these risks, I think, with the money they have and the Astralis' situation as well. And now they find themselves with 2 people left. What is going to happen here? I just don't know why they've gone for such aggression when they've got no money left. They've just won a round. I'm sorry, haven't just won a round, but they've been completely reset. The money was ruined already. Astralis were not in the greatest of spots, and now they could get 2-0'd.
Yeah, and it's those kinds of risks as well. I think Astralis have picked up on those trends as well, because it's been a few rounds in which Peter's done that, and they went for that gamble this time, and they caught him off early again. And that's, I think, just Astralis just knowing what kinds of gambles are going to be good against NRG. They played so many rounds, and now they just have to close the deal. ABC always be closing, James. And let's see, ELEAGUE is going to be able to deter Dupree. He's going to take him down, in fact, with that UMP in middle. So, ELEAGUE providing quite a defense, but Device is in now to try to return the frag. He can't quite do it in time. His position is now known by these CTs. It's Zipex who will finish off ELEAGUE in middle. So Astralis have middle control, and they have a minute and a half to play with. So they can slow things down now and try to bait a response and punish it if NRG are to go for any risks that are untoward.
The good thing for NRG at the moment is that there are many players on their own. for Astralis at present. Zepex holding a passive position towards main, but Device is isolated, and Gobi's creeping through the smoke. Device going for little taps, but Gobi misses a shot, manages to get the second one, and there it goes. No answer from the T's now. 3 versus 3. 58 seconds on the clock. They've got loads of time. They don't need to go crazy, and they're all starting to bunch together with the final players. Carrigan deploying the smokes, the nades into the site, but Fugly's in position, and again, the smokes will allow Tapson to come in as well. Peter's coming in for the flank, and the bomb's still in A main, just walking in now. Down goes Kiabi. Fugly in a strong position. One frag for him, can't get a second one, but it's a 3 versus 1 now. Zepex can't do it, and somehow NRG win another round of pots and pans down. They had nothing.
And again, it's happening. It looks like NRG are still in this. Every time you think that they are down for the count, they just get up again. So unrelenting, but I mean, they need to win another one to secure the overtime, and Astralis have enough money to buy. So we got big buy versus big buy.
Look at Peter's spawn. It's not the greatest. I'm wondering, I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen here. If he goes for the early peek towards B, then maybe there's an engagement from Astralis, but indeed, they're going to rotate the AWP now. Maybe having a read that Astralis will try to exploit him again. But there's only one person going towards B, so it's a bit of a reasonable default here. And Peter's going for the push, actually, towards Squeaky Door. And there's a player there. It's Zepex, and Zepex has been denied his window opportunity. His door's been closed down, figuratively and literally. Man advantage for NRG now, looking for overtime in game 2.
Yeah, and that's going to feel very, very good for Peter as well, having rounds where his aggressions did not work out. This is one where it's really important that it did, and it did. dupreeh, though, he's going to get a kill onto Legia. Carrigan applying pressure onto the checkers area towards B. There are players all over the map here for Astralis, just taking frags everywhere. What is going on? It looks like the trades are coming in, though. The CT side eliminating all but one. The in-game leader is left standing in Carrigan. He goes and gets the bomb, which has not yet been shown to NRG. So Carrigan, with a minute left to play with, he realizes that he can use this time. NRG might decide to split up, or they might decide to gamble together and both stick with each other on one bomb site. Those are the two options, and looks like they're slightly spread out here, so Carrigan could potentially get a 1 versus 1.
He's going to hear some noise as well. Peter making loads of noise, but Fugly is going to trade, and that is a very important round. You can see these players feeling the pressure. Tapson with almost his hands in his head. Tapson's got 36 kills, Dan. He's got 36 kills.
Yeah, this guy's been beasting. It's not over yet, though. No one has won just yet. It's going to be overtime between these two teams. Who is going to be able to take this? Will the German-American combo in NRG be able to bring this back into a third map from overtime? It's going to be pretty interesting to find out, James.
So let's have a look at how overtime works. It's 2 halves. Both will have 3 rounds. The players will start with $10,000 rather than a normal $800. So we need one team to get 4 of these 6 rounds to take things over the line. Otherwise, we will be headed to overtime number 2. Now, this is a really interesting situation. 3 rounds per half, and you start with 10K. When you have the AWPs coming out, things can get very expensive, and if you buy too many AWPs and don't win rounds, you can have no money left in the 3rd round, and that can be crushing moving into the 2nd half. We see the AWP coming out onto Peter, but Astralis will start with 5 AKs, so they will take the more conservative route. But 5 AKs allows them to be more dynamic, allows them to play faster and be more nimble when they're on sites, should they make their way onto sites.
Absolutely. And, well, it's Device moving into A main that we're looking at first, and there could be an aggression here. You can see the players have their backs to the smoke because they're going to be flashing in, and Device, he didn't have any teammate there to help him out, and he's going to go down. So really nice aggression from NRG. That's a good way to claim an early round advantage. And upon that advantage, now they can just chill. They can sit on their defense, and they can play reactively. They don't have to do anything more. They already have the advantage.
They have put Fugly into the nuclear bomb position in that boost. We've seen him cause massive damage to the numbers of the Astralis side from there time and time again. And it seems Astralis looking to go for the split towards A. They've taken control of Highway. We're not seeing a smoke up there as we saw in normal time for one of these teams. Fugly spots Kiabi on short. There he goes. And Zepex comes in as well. More multi-frags coming in from Fugly. Put his team in a great position now. 4 versus 2. dupreeh getting taps down Highway, but Tapson will not be able to finish off the job.
Yeah, so down to the in-game leader in dupreeh here. The entry fragger for the team. Let's see if they can get something done. 2 versus 2. Very, very, in fact, great chances for them. As they are the T side, they can pick their attack point, and that's going to be towards this B-bomb site. We have dupreeh in position there as well.
Gobi's position, though, is even more important. He knows the players haven't crossed yet. If he can stop them from doing so, double peek, though, comes out, and he can't get a single one. Now it's Legia versus 2.
Yeah, nice little coordination between Carrigan and dupreeh to make sure they were both facing that angle at the same time to get that trade frag. But no trade was necessary because no one died. But now it's down to Legia versus these two. He's got a lot of time as the bomb was freshly planted. And he looks for one of these players. They can be in a lot of spaces. He's got to guess correctly. And it looks like Astralis will not give up their position, but he's going to predict one very effectively. Takes down Dupree. Now just Carrigan left. As it goes in, and it's Carrigan finds the headshot with that AK, and he will claim the first round in the first overtime here on map 2 between Astralis and NRG on Cash.
Round 1 out of the way. Round 2, we see an AWP being picked up by Legia. He's going to spend the extra money that he didn't spend in the previous round to try and balance the money across the team, which will make things easier for them in the following round. So Peter will be back on the AWP, and we see one coming out for Device as well. He has a reasonable spawn. Sometimes you can get good spawns to go for a very early peek in mid before the player, to try and take out the player as he crosses mid over towards highway. Not going to happen on this occasion, though. Peter going back to the old faithful towards B, has a player in for support as well. Again, we have the early smoke in that position to force him to a different position. Got to be pushing for the smoke, though. Taking down Carrigan, early advantage for NRG.
Again, they're getting these early frags, but they have to close the rounds out with those advantages. And we've got Dupree there sitting in the T warehouse, which is just an entrance into mid as well. And he's going to be pushing middle. Dupree gets that frag. As we can see, Device is looking in to try to pressure into the A site. And the frags are being made back here from Astralis. They go 2 for 1, and they have middle. So this is a lot of pressure on NRG. Positionally, Astralis can get a lot of advantages because, again, they can choose their point of attack, and NRG just have to react and guess where they are going to be trying to plant that bomb. And it's Dupree who's really dangerous here, as he is still in that middle position. Gopi's going close though, and he's going to get the frag there. Takes down Dupree. That is important, but Device so quick on the trade. Very, very crucially done. And 2 versus 2 here with 50 seconds to go.
And everyone for both teams is split up. It seems Astralis wanted to go towards one side, but they are indeed headed towards the other. Device scoped in, but he can't get the frag. Tagged down to 11 here by Legia. That's the information. Will Peter go for the rotation? 35 seconds left. It would be a huge gamble to try and make it towards B. And Legia is stuck in the squeaky door now, but Peter's coming in, and the bomb still needs to cross towards the site. Device is going to get taken down, so it's Kiabi, who, again, it needs to cross, or he can plant it for short now. He's killed Peter. He knows where the other player is. He knows where Legia is. He can get the Molotov down. He can plant right here for short, and indeed he's going to do that. An exposed plant going to be very hard for Legia to get the defuse here.
Yeah, he's got to wait for the fire to go away. It does a lot of damage if you try to run through it. And Kirby's on the angle. The spray comes in! That's a shot Kirby. He normally nails every time, but this time he will not. And Legia's going to go and grab himself the AWP before going for the defuse. And this is a problem here for Astralis. It's actually been, I think, one of the 2 maps I've ever seen Kirby not really hitting his form. And Legia takes full advantage, and they will tie things up. 16-16, around a piece here in the first half of overtime.
So we are into the last round of the first half, beginning of the second. All players will start with $10,000 once again. But first, we'll have to see what becomes of these players in half one. Legia down to the UMP now. M4s for the rest of the team, save for Peter, who had his AWP saved. Again, Astralis back to 5 AKs. They've got tons of nades as well, so they can do whatever they like. The world could be their oyster, but perhaps NRG will look to give them a sour taste in their mouths.
Yeah, absolutely. We have, again, potentially what we could be aggression from the CT side of NRG. They've been doing that frequently to win their rounds. And Tabson's in there, takes down Zipex. There's nobody, again, for support. And everyone's coming out of the door. This Molotov is down as well. So it's going to be a very slow push out of the door. They're still stuck there. That's buying loads of time here for the CTs, who are trying to make their way back in for the defense of this bomb site. Glekia's there. The flash goes in. No frag made, though. It is Tabson onto Device, but there's too much in the way of players, and Kirby and Dupree get those entries to secure the bomb plant. Now Gobi goes in, but he is going to be quickly silenced, leaving things down to Peter. 1 versus 3, but the fire of Peter will burn down Kirby. And now he's got a winnable round on his hands, pulling out the pistol there, but it's only a P2000. What can Peter accomplish with this? Got the AWP in hand. The flashbang will be quite annoying, but doesn't get pushed here. Lots of bullets, he's been spotted. Peter trying to work his way in. It's very difficult. Over the top he goes, gets a nice shot, but Carrigan takes the frag with 2 health remaining. And that is the second, that's the 2-1 scoreline in this overtime. Astralis in the lead.
Speaking of the leads, Tabson on 39 frags. Got to be wondering what else he needs to do to take it over the line for his team here. Nobody else even on 30. He's putting in great work. But that, with an AWP, too difficult for Peter. Carrigan and co has very good positions to try and ensure themselves a trade frag. If one goes down, the other should be in a good position to kill Peter before he can fire another shot. And there we go. A thin lead for Astralis moving into the second half. So NRG, we find them back on the T side. And we saw them struggle with anti-ecos, anti-force buys in normal time. We shouldn't see that situation. There should be no situation here where Astralis have next to nothing to buy with. That said, look at this buy that's coming in. Well, I'll mention it when the time is unpaused. You have a pause coming in here, but Astralis have gone for a very interesting buy indeed. So again, we'll mention that shortly. Who are you? Are you favouring a team right now?
I mean, I'm always going to be favouring Astralis because Astralis are the better team, and the longer the longer it goes on against a team like Astralis, the more likely it should be for the underdog to kind of break down. But again, it remains to be seen. It is just the second map. And already NRG have done way more than I think anybody anticipated. So it's going to be, well, it could very well go to the third map, James. We'll have to see. It's like we do have a bit of a crash, I think.
Indeed. Hopefully quick reboots coming in and we can continue. Everyone's on the server for the time being, so maybe it's a coach computer. Sonic's got up out of his seat, so maybe he is the one having issues. Seems he might have a few gremlins over at his computer. I was playing some Counter-Strike here, Dan, until 11 PM last night. I actually played almost the same people 4 times in a row.
Oh, really?
Yeah, indeed.
How'd it go?
There was one guy who just shot me in the face every time we had a duel, which is not good, Dan. That's not very...
Was it Scream?
It's not very good. It wasn't Scream, no. But I did play him on Cash once. That didn't go very well for me, must be honest. Let's go! Right, so... nothing between these two teams. And you have to wonder, if let's say we go to repeated overtimes, do you feel like it's going to benefit? Actually, I'm not going to ask you, Dan, because I don't want to know your opinion. You know why, Dan? Because we're going back into the game. So we have all the headsets back on, and I have a look at this buy. We said that NRG didn't do very well with anti-ecos, anti-force buys, and we shouldn't expect that. However, Astralis have gone for a very big gamble here, having 2 warps at the beginning of the first round. If this doesn't work out, Device and Karrigan are both going to be broke.
Absolutely. It's definitely a big investment. And there's some mid-aggression as well, so that forward position does give a lot of information. You can hear the T's running around, if they decide to be running around at least, instead of walking, which is silent. It's inaudible. You go ninja mode, you take off the shoes, just running around in socks.
I did that once, Dan, and I stepped on a slug. No, I stepped on a snail. Even more gross. Not recommended.
Well, thank you for that. Now we have Karrigan on this angle, and actually if Fugly jumps on the box, there is actually a pixel where he can just get shot in the face. So got to be very careful there. If he pulls out a grenade, I think Karrigan might be able to spot it. And that's sort of what Karrigan is also looking for from that position.
We've seen previous rounds where NRG waited for Astralis to overextend, especially when NRG won the eco, and I wonder if that's the purpose of Fugly's position. We've got a bit of posturing, a bit of moving around, but dupreeh and Kiabi are pretty close in mid, and indeed, dupreeh's going to get taken down by a boost from tabseN. tabseN, though, will get traded from Zipex. I was going to wonder if a boost was going to come in. Karrigan with a nice flash there. That's going to allow himself to take Peter down as well. Looking for Legia. gorup is heavily tagged as well. 4 versus 2. Karrigan's done great work. gorup gets dispatched off as well. And it's Legia alone going to get traded. So Astralis survive. And most importantly, they survive with both AWPs intact. Again, that was a huge gamble by Astralis moving into the 3rd round where they may have been left with absolutely no money. And it paid off.
Yeah, that's really nice stuff there from Karrigan specifically. Those 2 frags. Basically, you've stopped the push from being able to make it this way forward. And then with the flank coming in and support from middle as well, Astralis they just crushed this round. So really nicely done by Karrigan to hold it down. And he's not been having the best performances lately either because he just flew here, James.
And it's match points. If Astralis make it to 19, this is GG, this is game over, this is thank you, goodbye, this is 0-2 barbecue, Dan.
All right, well, we have both teams with goodbyes, so it's going to be down to picking the right strategy here.
Where's the second AWP gone for Astralis? They had 2 AWPs at the end of that last round, but right now they have 1. So it seems they've decided for a change in approach, or maybe they've got it on the floor somewhere and someone's carried a rifle. I don't know, but it seems they've just decided they've made a conscious decision to go with 1 AWP, maybe expecting a fast play here from NRG.
They've sent it to the pawn shop, perhaps. Got NRG making their presence somewhat felt here towards the A site, and there are 3 players there for Astralis. So Astralis are definitely set up to try to deal with aggression into this bomb site. This will be a hard breach for NRG to try to make. They're going to have to really nail their grenade placement and their coordination as to who looks where on the entry of the site. You can see Fugly's checking the close positions, but not well enough. Dupree with the perfect timing coming in. There's 2 massive frags there from Dupree, but still, we get trades from Peter and Tabson to put it to a 3 versus 3, and Device is close on the side. He's got Zipex as well. Device with a key frag, dropping the bomb, but the trade from Peter. Trades backwards and forwards, but it's Peter to make the difference. But Carrigan coming in with that AWP is very dangerous. Can he find the frag here? Or will these Ts understand how to play it? And there it is, great shot onto Tabson. Now Peter knows the HE set sailing above, and that's it. Carrigan nails it with the grenade, soaring through the air. That is the round, and Astralis make it happen.
An explosive finish to a very tight game between these 2 teams, and indeed, that is the 2-0, that is the GG, that is a big clean sheet for Astralis moving into tomorrow's televised final.
But James, NRG, they got so close. How did this happen? What a brilliant result from them. All things considered, with pretty much a brand spanking new lineup, they definitely turned some heads here at ELEAGUE.
That's a brutal way to lose, though, to come so close, to take it to overtime, and then to lose. Can be even more heartbreaking than like a 16-2 or something, I don't know. But we see the handshakes now, the good game from both sides, but again, it is Astralis, as expected.
As expected, yeah.
Moving into the final tomorrow. So, and again, they've had a rough start with Carrigan not making it in the first day. Sonic stepping in, putting in a good performance for them. So we'll see what the devs think about that after the break. We will see you back here shortly.
Welcome back to ELEAGUE. Our studio audience is in the house making some noise. They've been impressed by what they've seen, but mainly from Astralis. NRG, they fought it close. There was one person who went off, but in the end they weren't able to get that OT win and force that third map. Moses and Mo are going to help me break it down, and I don't really know where to start. Let's get the player of the match out. We're gonna kick off again with each other. So we're gonna present to you the blazing hot player of the match as presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. For me, it was Tabson, the German from NRG. Now, Mo, your philosophy on MVPs?
The winning team should always have the MVP.
That's just crazy to me.
I don't think so, but I do agree that there's no way this would have been close without Tabson, at least on the second map.
Which makes him sound pretty valuable to me.
No, he's
perhaps the most valuable player on the server because of that.
He's the most valuable player on NRG for sure. I'll give you that one. That's all I'll give you.
I mean, let's give props here. He had a 6-second map. He was pretty good on the first map as well. So you can argue it both ways. I thought Device consistent across 2 maps, but here, I mean, you can't really deny this performance.
Highest kills. Number of kills by any player so far in ELEAGUE. So there you go, man.
Well, pretty
valid. For Mo's rebuttal to this one.
Pretty valid. Thank you, Mose. I'm glad you got my back on this. Give me a bro.
I don't know if I have your back on it. I wanted to sit out and let you guys go at it.
I mean, it'll be scant consolation because obviously they do lose the series.
Here's the thing. I usually would say they should hold their heads up high because they got close and it's a world best team right here, one of the world best teams. They should have had actually both of those maps and they threw them away both. And we were just watching it in frustration the whole time because these mistakes were happening over and over and over. And I'm not talking about like a mistake where it happens and then another mistake happens. They were making the same exact mistakes over and over and over. And I even asked this like publicly on Twitter. I said, how many rounds has NRG lost where they got the opening kill? And people were responding every single round they've lost. They had the opening kill, which is unbelievable.
That sounds like a slight exaggeration to me. We'll get some confirmation. Is this how you do your research?
No,
Twitter polls.
I mean,
Twitter polls.
At least more than 50% of the rounds that they won or that they lost were after they got the first kill, 100%. Because every time I saw...
That sounds like Mo.
I'm not going to say 100%.
He's had another Sex Panther. 50% of the time, it was 100% of the time.
I'm telling you, man.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk to someone that does know the numbers, and that's Gobby. He's with Rachel right now.
Thanks so much, guys. Gobby, I gotta ask you, so many times you were the last person alive in a match, and you had everything on your shoulders. What goes through your head at that moment when you're the last one left alive?
You're not really thinking about it. You just try your best, and yeah, I don't know. I didn't even realize that I was so often the last man alive, but yeah, I don't know. You just try your best, and you don't think like, oh, pressure on my shoulders or so. No, you just play.
Well, your team is, you told me, only 8 days old, so that's some darn good performance for an 8-day-old team. But tell me, after ELEAGUE, because you guys are not moving on, what are you going to work on next?
We will just practice, I think, and I don't even know what's coming next, to be honest. So we were just playing and try to work on our mistakes, try to work to be a better team, even.
Well, I'll be cheering for you guys no matter what you do. You have a ton of fans watching, especially after that epic final match. Anything you want to say to them?
I want to thank every fan, every one of you guys which supports NRG, me. Yeah, I really thank you. Thank you. And yeah, we just can say thank you, and I can promise we will work on our mistakes, we will work on our team. I think we showed like two faces in this tournament. We can compete, but we need to work, and we will work, and yeah, that's what I can say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gobby. Back to you guys at the desk.
There you go. He's a class act, Gobby, as I said, known him a long time, and he's absolutely right. They do have to iron out those mistakes. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about that. I don't know how much time we've got, but one of the great things about coming in and doing ELEAGUE over here at Turner Sports was apparently we're getting all these wonderful new toys to play with, right? And we've been given one for Moses. We've got a Telestrator. Now, I've never used. Yeah, is that what it's called?
Telestrator.
Telestrator. I don't know.
We'll do good. This is one of those rounds actually that most talk about where they lose the first player. This is very good coordinated aggression from NRG, but then you can see is if you look at what Astralis does in response, they take complete mid control here, and what they're doing is they're denying any kind of information that can be gathered down highway or from the Gia in the center, and basically what they've done, they've lost map control at A, they've taken it in mid, and now when they start applying this pressure, they're going to lose a couple players up here, but the big point that you want to watch for is right here later on in that portion of the map, in this connector when these kills go down, this pressure that they're able to apply in so many different situations. Look what the mistake that Peter's going to be forced into, because he's actually going to come here and overcommit himself coming out mid, and you'll be able to watch it here. Dupree's able to even things out in a 2-on-2 because of that. So because he doesn't have the information, he's trying to find some, he's trying to be aggressive, and he just doesn't manage to do it in the end, and actually it just ends up that Astralis wins this 2 versus 2 towards the end of the round.
So in this situation, one of the things we've talked about consistently with NRG is that they do have this tendency to overpeak. They do seem over-reliant on information. Mo, I'll ask you as an ex-player, isn't it best then, if you don't have the information, just play it safe, just err on the side of caution?
The thing about this round that I didn't even realize until I just saw it right now, it was a 5 versus 2. That's what happened, right? There was 5 versus 2, and then those 2 players managed to get all 5 kills. And yes, to answer your question, information is important, but it's not to the point where you have more than them in numbers by a lot. They had at one point there was 5v3 as well. That's when everyone started peeking and dying at once. So the biggest mistake you could do as a team is start to taking single peaks by yourself. If you're going to do something together with information, all right, everyone, we're all going to peek middle at the same time. Let's do it. That's good.
Well, we saw it open that round out when they actually did the coordinated aggression into A main. Because before we did see some rounds where they let Peter get aggressive over towards B with the op, just kind of pushing solo, and he actually got picked off twice that way.
And that's on the leader to tell him, don't do that. We know they don't have an op. You can kind of predict what they have based on how the rounds go. So the leader should have said, Peter, don't go aggressive this round because they don't have an op anyway.
Yeah, and I think it's best summarized as saying, there's a time to be brave and there's a time to be smart, right? And you know, I thought PT had a very mixed day. I don't want to be too cruel because I think his parents are still in the audience and I don't want them tearing strips off me backstage. But, you know, he had some great rounds where he went aggressive, and then there were rounds where he went aggressive, and it unfortunately cost him the round.
He actually had a really nice round where he went aggressive. He actually did one a push and door and got an opening kill and just fell back into the bomb site.
By the way, the opening kill thing that I mentioned, I was right. 8 rounds.
Well, you did say 100%.
No, I said 50%.
You also said 100% of the time. It was 50% of the time.
No, I said 50% of the rounds.
We'll come back. We'll do some number crunching.
So they lost 18 rounds.
We'll do some crunching in just a bit. Anyway, look, these players have been shooting guns in CSGO for a long time, so we wanted to see how they would do with real guns. It's time for Locked and Loaded, presented by Arby's.
Each week, different teams will take aim at Arby's best for bragging rights. Today, it's NRG. Each player gets 3 rounds. Points are determined by how many shots it takes to hit the target. Today's target, Arby's Loaded Italian.
Yeah, what I heard about it's a sandwich, apparently. Was it a sandwich?
I've shot a gun in my real life before. It's been a while, so I'm a bit rusty, I think. We're not gonna shoot it because we want to eat it after. It hit like this and don't hit the sandwich. Been shooting, as I said before. Yeah, never on the sandwich.
Have I ever shot a gun? No, I've never shot a gun before.
I want you to press that trigger very slowly.
I think I'm gonna win it today, boys.
I really can't see
you hit the top right of it. Yeah.
Try without the sunglasses?
Yeah, let's see.
Try it with those.
Now I see it with these.
Okay.
Oh, he hit the wood?
Hit the wood?
You hit the wood!
Did he shred the wood?
But that's not real.
It looks good, yeah. It actually looks really good. Got it.
Shooting in real life is really hard, and it's harder than in computer games.
Hard to aim, like, how do you say, without moving. I think the sandwich will just basically explode. It will just go in 1,000 pieces, probably. I mean, I've never shot the weapon in my life. In Germany, we don't really have that many opportunities to do it. But yeah, I hit that at least.
My teammates showed that we have really good aiming, and I don't think you can beat them.